I was shocked when I learned that in fact the Super Mario Bros. Film of '93 was the first video game movie adaptation ever.
Where are we?
But the films that followed up are somehow equal in cheesiness and the lack of intellectual stories and traits. Now here's the ranking of the first 10 years of game movie adaptations, 1993 to 2003. Number 11, Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within. Someone in 2001 thought it was a good idea to invest the overwhelming budget of 137 millions in a Final Fantasy movie. That would be over 200 millions today, and unfortunately, you do not see it in the final movie. It is the first photorealistic animation film, but it was not really looking that realistic at the time it came out already. Unfortunately, every viewer not invested in the Final Fantasy universe was completely lost from minute one, hardly being able to follow the film or finding joy in seeing a special character. Maybe for the basic story seemed not strong enough. This is the only movie on the list that I did not watch until the end, and as well as up to number 8, I can say I have no intention to ever try a second watch of those films.
2454.
Number 10, Wing Commander. The Wing Commander games were hugely successful, and since part 3, the cutscenes were shot with real actors like Mark Hamill or Malcolm McDowell in a style that reminded of Command & Conquer. That was fun on a PC, but when game creator Chris Roberts decided to go for a movie and direct it, everything was closer to the former game videos than a real big science fiction film. The plot was weak, as well as the dialogue, and there was no scene that really stood out, except for the use of the then modern bullet time effects introduced by the Matrix film the same year. And that just felt like a bad copy of a good idea. This is not only a no-brainer like most of the films here, it is the one you will not even remember when you have finished watching. Needless to say, critics and moviegoers disliked it equally, and it lost a lot of money in the box office, not even crossing the production budget of once 27 million.
That fact. Give him a broadside, Mr. Jerome. Open fire.
His name is Jonathan Rice. He doesn't care who his weapons kill or why.
Number 9. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life. The second Tomb Raider film starred again Angelina Jolie, who had the looks of Lara in a way, but the film never had the feel of the games and felt like an action movie that just used the license without caring for the rest and repeated generic action scenes with a female lead. Something that could be said about the first movie as well.
We are running out of time.
Number 8. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider.
Illuminati swore to bring their ancestors.
The first Tomb Raider hit at the right time, for the series was still well known, and the heroine Lara was a style icon that even non-gamers would recognize.
Through time.
Although there was not really much connection to the game series, the movie was the biggest game adaptation hit in the first decade and proved that there's more potential in the genre, earning as much money as every other Hollywood blockbuster. Still, there was little real Tomb Raider in it, and like the follow-up, it always felt like a name of the industry dropped into a generic action adventure that no one really cared for.
Angelina Jolie is Lara Croft.
Days ago.
Number 7. House of the Dead.
When they're everywhere. What do you do? when there's no
House of the Dead was the first game adaptation made by the infamous Dr. Uwe Boll, who always gained money by using an act of the German government for helping the film industry, making financing movies attractive by allowing every investor to use it as some kind of capital allowance. Although his movies basically looked professional, the direction was always subpar and, apart from every effort, never managed to get people invested in the film or even care for the characters. It's like no one was interested in this while in the making, which is some kind of trademark for Boll's movies. But House of the Dead is among the better ones in his oeuvre, and at least some hilarious fighting scenes are there to enjoy, and if you have a heart for trashy movies, you might give it a try. This is, by the way, the first film in the list that I can imagine to watch again, if I am in the mood. Although that may not happen very often in this particular case.
is to send them all back to
2000s.
Number 6, Double Dragon.
Los Angeles. Punks rule the night. And one man wants...
Following up as the second ever made game movie adaptation, Double Dragon was the film that had the smallest budget of them all, at around 8 million. Martial art artist Mark Dacascos starred in it, as well as T-1000 Robert Patrick as the villain. The movie was very colorful, especially in the props and costumes, and therefore appealed more to a younger audience, even including kid gangs into it. But on the same time contradicted with some harsher scenes and a little bit of graphic violence.
Their history.
The overall cheesiness and the trashy look made it a good candidate for an audience that can enjoy exactly this. A more mainstream one will surely not be that invested, for it still looks too cheap for most of them. If you can accept it, the action is fun, and so are the effects, and it is entertaining, besides the ridiculous kid gang stuff, and of course, if you do not expect a highly sophisticated movie. It's more like a cheap snack in between.
T2's Robert Patrick, Scott Wolf, Mark Dacascos, and Alyssa Milano. Double Dragon.
Number 5, Resident Evil.
Here to help. Now, an elite team has been sent in.
Resident Evil is in fact a more serious attempt of making a game movie, for it cares more for the atmosphere and that it works as a film in general. The story is overly simple, since heroine Alice has lost her memories and meets a commando troop that is investigating the events in a research complex beneath Raccoon City, where they are attacked by zombie-like creatures, undead dogs and other mutants. The darker tone fits very good and gives this an atmospheric look, though the pacing takes its time and the first half could get things going faster. Still, the fact that they cared more for the film itself and did not completely ignore the world of the games makes this one an enjoyable choice. The success of the movie generated 5 sequels and a 2021 reboot.
How is she still standing?
Number 4, Super Mario Bros. The first game movie had an enormous budget of then round about 40 million and already showed the way things will go. Any film company will not really care about the origin and just rework everything, normally keeping only the main characters, some looks, names or topics, but ignoring really everything. All written by someone who has never seen a single screen of the actual game, not saying played it only for just 1 minute. In this masterpiece of modern trash cinema, you accompany the brothers Mario and Luigi, who are in fact no brothers at all. That's already a punch in the face of every gamer, but then the mushrooms get turned into a giant spider web-like fungus that is everywhere in the city of Dino Hatton in another universe and was once the former king and father of Princess Stacy. Since Jurassic Park came out before, there is some dino stuff in there. The cute mushroom head Toad is now a street musician in leather clothing. There is a plan to de-evolve people into dinos with shrunken heads and human bodies. And Princess Stacy is now an archaeology student. This makes no sense in the movie as well. It is hilarious, senseless, full of big budget set pieces and strange decisions, even for a normal science fiction movie. Because of all this, it is entertaining as some kind of weird fever dream of someone who doesn't know what to do with the money he got for making a movie.
Every generation.
Number 3, Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
That
Okay, now I can hear you scream. The follow-up to Mortal Kombat is a trashy masterpiece showing the worst CGI effects in existence for a movie costing more than the predecessor, having less star power and therefore more money for the rest that it absolutely does not show. The skies look overly artificial, the acting screams direct to video, and the boulder-like transportation system is giving you the rest, leaving you lying on the floor laughing. I can really enjoy this one every time since I like trash movies, and this is the epitome of them. Doing everything wrong, but with a heartbreaking seriousness that makes every single scene a source of enjoyment. The movie bombed so hard, especially among fans and critics, that it took 24 years for another Mortal Kombat movie to be made. I can understand anyone shaking his head, but if you like trash, this one is for you. Number 2, Street Fighter. And again, the trash strikes, since it is a common companion in this list in a lot of titles. Jean-Claude Van Damme was at the top of his career and the perfect choice for Gil, who is fighting with his troops of allied nation soldiers against the evil oppressor General Bison. The movie is colorful, hits with a lot of vehicles and explosions, and is somehow an origin story for all the characters. It absolutely lacks of martial arts action, what is, of course, the key element of a brawler like Street Fighter, especially when you have Van Damme on your side. Every moment it is like trying to find a way not to get him into martial arts combat. And for the creation of all the characters, it also takes a very long time, so that only in the finale we see them all in their real characteristic visual form and get at least some hand-to-hand combat fighting scenes. Too late for sure, but the rest of the movie we get a lot of funny scenes of over-the-topness, cause it never takes itself serious and plays around with satire and parodies. So that it's a joy to see Raul Julia in his last movie overacting as Bison in a heartwarming way, making up ridiculous scenes and giving the movie, accompanied by the direction, an extra vibe of self-awareness that most of the other ones lack.
Is in the loving grip of the Pax by Sonica.
Number 1, Mortal Kombat.
in each of us.
The 1995 version brings pure entertainment and keeps to the simple premise of the game and the will of the gamers to get what they want. A tournament of fighters and an evil villain, much like the 73 Bruce Lee movie Enter the Dragon, but now with a lot of fighters of the game in the more or less right costume right away. No origin story, no building up, no waiting, it is there. The look is very much 90s coolness, which is can be of course, but in a nice way. The action scenes are well choreographed and fast paced, and nothing is overly complicated, making it a fun movie to watch.
It's mine.
In our world.
Some CGI may be dated, but there is of course Prince Goro, who is more traditionally made, and he stands out until today as a great creature. The only thing one could complain about is the lack of overdone violence that has always been a trademark of the series. And that may be cause to appeal to our broader audience. But other things are done right, like the use of the original theme, symbols, and the fighters everyone knows. Is this a proper first place, or would you have ranked differently? Write a comment, give the clip a thumbs up if you like, or subscribe to the channel, it really helps a lot.